Hello and welcome back to F1 22 Driver Career Mode. My name is Chris. Welcome along this episode for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Now, if you haven't watched the Spanish Grand Prix yet, I recommend that one. That was an interesting race for us. We started at the back of the grid and we finished not at the back of the grid. That's all I'll say. Go and watch the video if you haven't seen it already. But boy, did we have some work to do at the end. We underfueled the car apparently, and towards the end of the race we were really struggling to make it to the line. We did make it to the line and we managed to keep Hamilton at bay to get ourselves a P6, which was great, but it was close. So yeah, go watch that one if you haven't already. But onwards to Baku. This should be a good race. Last season it wasn't the best, but I feel like I know the cars better now. I feel a lot more comfortable. This track is normally one of my favourites. So let's head to qualifying and see what we can do. And to the track we go. That is the fastest of the session. And it's good enough to keep us there. Just one lap in qualifying. It's probably the first time I've done that actually in this game at all. So confidence is building where we feel like we maybe don't have to burn all the tyres early on, which is only a good thing. It's going to give us plenty more tyres for the next session. Ocon did not have a good time. He got a DNF, so he did qualify P15, but he got knocked out anyway because he didn't finish. I would have thought Albon would have bumped up into P15 on that, but he didn't. So strange one. So we lose Albon, we lose Tsunoda, Schwartzman, Vettel and Latifi. So only 14 of us going into Q2, which is a very odd thing, but is what it is. Anyway, back onto the track, and we're going purple so far in the session. It's super early on though. Obviously there are cars on track, but I don't think anyone has completed a lap at this stage. Or maybe a couple of them have, but we have not, obviously. So yeah, looking good so far. Can we keep it together though? You may remember last season we had a big spin because we had a wet qualifying and we just got a bit overzealous with the throttle. But yeah, we do set a good time and we go back out again towards the end of the session. Get the old green delta on the go, 4 tenths up so far, which is great. A purple sector 1. So it's looking good for us on our second run. We're currently sat in P7, so probably pretty safe to be fair. One of the last cars out, so if not the last car out. I think we are the last car out, so we're probably safe. We sit in P11, so not safe as it turns out. We do improve enough to put ourselves top of the session again. We've obviously got a lot of straight line speed, which is super important around Baku, and with that we're obviously pretty good in the slow speed corners, so we'll take that top of the session for Q2, which puts us into the top 10. We lose Lando Norris, Mick Schumacher, Kevin Magnussen and Lance Stroll from this session. Surprising that we've lost Norris given that Pierre Gasly is right up there in P3, but anyway, on to Q3, and the first lap we set is of course the fastest because not really many other people have set laps. Looking at the mid-session, Pierre Gasly beats us by just over a tenth, or just shy of 2 tenths. It's pretty close at the top. Carlos Sainz also topped our time, but end of the session, we head back out. It's all or nothing now. We could potentially put this on pole here, so we're going to see what we're capable of. 3 tenths up already, just up through 2 corners, so it's looking pretty good. The track's rubbing in, a big slide there, and that has completely wiped out all of the improvement we made. But we're going to carry on going because obviously when the track rubbers in, you can make huge gains. So we keep going in the hopes that we can get some of that time back. We do, but I just don't think it's going to be enough. Obviously red in sector 1. What's sector 2 going to look like as we come around to start sector 3? Purple. So this lap had potential, which is devastating because I don't think we can make up 2 tenths here on the straight, but we'll see if we get a good exit here. Maybe we can, but it wasn't the smoothest of exits as we head down towards the line. Yeah, we're just not improving, so unfortunately it looks like it might be a P4 for us as we come across the line. No improvement, and it will be a P4 start for the race. It's unfortunate, but is what it is. You know what? Second row is still good. We can fight from there. The Mercedes hasn't been super quick in race pace, so we should be able to beat Lewis, and I reckon Pierre Gasly might buckle under the pressure. So if we get a good start, it could be myself and Sergio Perez. Max Verstappen all the way down in P8 is a surprise. Obviously our championship rival at the moment.
Good afternoon and welcome from Baku. This was the arena, if you think back to 2017, of one of the most eventful races of modern history, with controversy behind the safety car, last-second overtakes, and a historic podium for Williams and for Lance Stroll. Let's find out what lies in store for us this year. It's time for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. With 20 turns and a length of 3.7 miles, Baku City Circuit in the heart of the Azerbaijan capital is a real test of a driver's endurance, patience and precision. 90-degree corners through Sector 1 lead into a tightening uphill sprint as we start to circle around the old city. Then a 1.4-mile chase flat out through Sector 3 towards the finish line. Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. It's Sergio Perez on pole today, with Pierre Gasly alongside. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Hamilton, Marshall, Carlos Sainz and Ricciardo, Russell, Verstappen, Fernando Alonso and Charles Leclerc, Norris, Mick Schumacher, Kevin Magnussen and Stroll, Ocon, Albon, Yuki Tsunoda and Robert Schwartzman, Vettel and Nicolas Latifi. Now it's almost time for lights out, so let's go down to the track.
Launch map is good, but we need to learn the gears, so go into each one when you can. We're going to need some work on the brakes, so put some energy into them and warm the tyres as well, please.
Alrighty, here we go as we come back up to the grid, looking at the strategy. It's going to be a simple medium to hard, I think, round here. The tyre wear's not too bad, and it's probably going to be the quickest. So
parking there, nice one. That's going to give you the edge if you can get good launch as the race starts.
Let's see what we can do as we wait for the 5 red lights, as always. And we're underway for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. I nearly said the wrong thing there, but here we are. Not a bad start. Pierre Gasly is fighting with Hamilton. Hamilton's absolutely flying off that start. Got himself up into P2 and Pierre Gasly down into P3. I thought he might buckle under a bit of pressure as Daniel Ricciardo comes up the inside of us and we take a bit of avoiding action and we keep ourselves ahead for now, but it looks like Daniel Ricciardo might actually make a bit of a lunge. He decides not to on this occasion. He's gone deep. That's not ideal for him as we slightly pull away. 1.3 seconds already, so that's a really good start to the race for us as Daniel Ricciardo makes a bit of a mistake, but that's what it is. I'm sure he'll recover. As you can see, he's already back within just about a second of us, but we're going to chase down Pierre Gasly now as we come towards the castle section. What's going on here? Charles Leclerc in the Alfa Romeo having a really good season, actually, when you consider the car. I mean, Robert Schwartzman, his rookie teammate, all the way down in P19, so he's definitely out driving that car. Obviously, he's the reigning champion at the moment, so you would expect that. But yeah, on board with our teammate here down in P16. He, I believe, I know he had that. I was going to say he had a penalty, but he didn't. He took that. He had that issue in qualifying, DNF'd in Q2. Sorry, Q1. So he found himself in P14, I think, at the time, but he's dropped back a couple of places at the start, which is not great. But up the front, Sergio Perez in the Red Bulls. Not who you'd expect to be at the top, but Max Verstappen started all the way back in 8th, so he's got a bit of work to do. It works out in our favour. We can hopefully make up some championship points here today as we get ever closer to Pierre Gasly onto the second lap. And who knows, we might have a little go at him here. I reckon a bit of VRS deployment. Obviously, probably not into the castle section. That would be a bit ballsy. We don't want to ruin our race, but yeah, we're pretty damn close as we come towards the back half of the lap. So we could be in with a move here.
Let's use overtake and burn off some of this energy.
Yeah, we'll see what we can do.
DRS will be enabled this lap. You can use it when you're within 1 second of the car ahead and in the DRS zone.
Hamilton and Gasly then fighting as we head on to lap 3. We've now got DRS. Tiny bit of contact there with Hamilton, but not enough to give us damage. Thankfully, we do get DRS, but we get a bit snaky on the exit. We just didn't quite have a smooth run because those guys were fighting in front of us. So, yeah, Pierre Gasly is trying to fight his way back up to second. Has he got it? It looks like he has as he goes down the inside. And the outside for the next one. I think Gasly's got that, you know, as we almost lose the car again. Not sure what's happening there, but probably just pushing too hard. You know, when there's guys fighting in front of you, the temptation is very real. But on board now with George Russell and the two Ferraris fighting just ahead of him. So he's in a very similar situation to what we were. They're going 3 wide now into this turn. What's going to happen here? Who's going to come out on top? Looks like George is through on at least one of those Ferraris, but can he get Carlos Sainz? He might just do this, you know, 2 overtakes in 2 corners. It's a good result for George so far. Up into P5 then, teammate in P3. So good start to the afternoon for Mercedes. But here we are with a bit of DRS, and we are right on the tail of Lewis Hamilton. And I reckon we could be in fighting distance very, very shortly. Apparently Russell is absolutely flying, because apparently he's lapping a second faster than we are. Not sure how true that is, but onto the power we go. DRS open, dumping our ERS, and we're going to have a go around the outside of Lewis Hamilton here. Can we pull it off? I reckon we can, as we bump over the curb. Not ideal, but we get it stopped, and more importantly, we get round Lewis. So we're up into the podium positions now. On to lap 4. Here's another look at that then from the off-board cameras. Round the outside. Beautiful. We squeeze Lewis to the inside, and gives us better traction on the outside, and off we go. Here's Max Verstappen, started in P8, now up into P7, taking Daniel Ricciardo's spot there, who has already dropped back. He was way, way further up the order. He's lost out to his teammate and George Russell, and now Max Verstappen. So, not having a great afternoon. It's been a bit of a weird season for Daniel Ricciardo in that Ferrari, to be honest. He's had a couple of DNFs. He had that spin in Spain, so yeah, it's another car that he doesn't get on with, perhaps, although he is running in the points, so certainly better than what he was doing in the McLaren, as we look to make another move up into second place on Pierre Gasly, the exact same move as we did on Lewis Hamilton. We'll take that. So now Sergio Perez has been running his own race, basically, just up front, plenty of time ahead. He's 4 seconds ahead at the moment, so we're going to have to get our foot down if we're going to stand any chance of catching up with Perez. A bit of contact with the wall there, I think. I just heard. Not ideal. I am in 2 minds about whether we can do this, you know, because that Red Bull is so quick. Maybe we have been seeing that the Red Bull doesn't really like the hard tyres too much, so maybe when we pit.
With the DRS, you will not be able to open the rear wing. We're working on a fix. Stay out for now.
That's not really what we want to hear, although hopefully by the time we do get anywhere close to DRS, that problem will be fixed. But anyway, we're coming in super early, because my thought was the Red Bull will eventually come in and pit for the hard tyres. So if we get on them slightly earlier, warm them up, we should hopefully be quicker. But we'll see if it pays off or not as the Grand Prix goes on. Good pit stop. 2.3 seconds.
Perfect job from you and the crew there, mate. We're delighted with that. Pit strategy complete. See these tyres through to the end now.
Out we come then, just behind Mick Schumacher and just in front of Magnussen. Oh, a bit of wheel spin on the exit with the super cold hard tyres. These are an absolute nightmare to warm up in this game. But Kevin Magnussen is thinking, you know what, I'll have that place back, thank you very much, as he goes up the inside. We go around the outside. We're still side by side here. What's it going to be? Are we going to come out on top, or is Magnussen going to come out on top? I think we might just have this as we go a bit wonky out this corner. We seem to be losing the back end an awful lot in this race. We're going to have to maybe think about changing the setup the next time we come here, but for now we focus on today, and we are chasing Mick Schumacher, who obviously hasn't pitted yet, so his tyres will be going off. Ours are up to temp now, so we can really go for it. Through the castle section, a bit of a train going on here, hey. We nearly made contact with Schumacher there. Are we going to go for a move here? We are, down the inside. What a move that was. Brilliant stuff. Hopefully we can have a look at that from the off-board cameras. That would be nice, but nonetheless, that was ballsy move, but it made sense to do because we were so close to Alonso as well to get DRS, so we didn't really lose out by doing it. And most of the midfield and some of the front runners are in the pit lane as we, again, nearly into the wall. We've got decent pace, but we just need to be a bit smoother, I think. Anyway, on to lap 14, and my hard tyre strategy hasn't really paid off yet. What have we got here? Pierre Gasly. Oh, fighting with Carlos Sainz on the pit exit. Didn't really work out for him. Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton, old enemies, having a little battle into turn 1. Looks like Max Verstappen's going to come out on top of this one, but they're side by side as they head down into turn 2. Max Verstappen is indeed ahead. So Max has done a really good job, to be fair to him, all the way from P8 all the way up to P3 onto the podium. I reckon we can probably hold him off. He's almost 4 seconds behind, so yes, they're quicker, but they're not lapping that much quicker, so we should be able to hold them off. What was I saying before? I was saying about Perez, right? Yeah, my hard strategy hasn't really worked out. The Red Bulls, whatever upgrades they've bought, maybe tyre wear upgrades probably, is really working out for them, and their car is perfectly okay on the hards now. So that little edge we had, we don't really have it anymore. Here we are back on board with Daniel Ricciardo again. Seems to be the man of the moment in this race. And Esteban Ocon, 3 wide. The AI love going 3 wide into this corner. And Ocon is going to gain himself a place, maybe 2 even, as he goes around the outside of Mick Schumacher. And he does. He's up into P9. That's not bad, considering he was all the way down in P16 on lap 1. So good job from Esteban. He hasn't quite been there. Oh, not again. Luckily, we've only got 2 laps to go, but we are going to have to do a bit of lift and coast. So we really just need to make sure we hold Max outside that 1 second, because otherwise we're in trouble. Especially with this year-long straight that we've got here. We've not actually got enough fuel to finish this race. Just as we get to the line, I think we're going to end up in low fuel mode. So this is going to be a little bit frightening as we head up towards the line. Max Verstappen is only a second behind us now. I think we're going to be okay. We have gone into low fuel mode. There's the loss of power and across the line. We just about did that.
Yes, come on.
Whew.
On the podium.
Second place.
Great drive.
Damage limitations again, I suppose. Esteban Ocon, driver of the day. You know what? He deserved that. He did a really good job today. He hasn't been there this whole season, but
Here we are then, it's
his
victory
form
in
is
Azerbaijan.
coming, I think.
Great work from the whole team here at the track and back at the factory as well. Some pretty handy driving for good measure. Tell me, Ant, how do you think they were able to deliver such an incredible result today?
Well, they certainly stood out as a driver with tons of confidence on the track. I think their ability to keep their cool, even during some of the more hectic parts of the race, meant they were able to capitalise on the mistakes of other drivers, giving them the opportunity to make their way to the top spot with ease.
Red Bull put up an outstanding fight for the front position today, and it's great to see it paid off for them. They do so much for the sports that you can't help but be delighted by today's race win.
I can help be delighted by today's race win. I would have loved for that to be me up there, bringing back points that we so desperately need to get back in this championship fight. I say back, I think we are still in this fight, but we have lost a lot of points recently, especially with the DNFs and the engine issues that we've had. So yeah, it's been a tough few races for us. So hopefully when we go to Canada, we can bounce back a little bit. I've got my fingers crossed, my hopes high. So we'll see. Second place though, that's 18 points. We'll take that. Sergio Perez with, I think, what might be his first race win this season. So, yeah, good job, Sergio. And Max Verstappen coming from 8th on the grid all the way back up to 3rd. Just shows you how good he is and how good that Red Bull is. Because I didn't expect that. Normally the AI in this game get a bit stuck when they find themselves further down the grid, but he did not. He came back, got himself a good haul of points. Sebastian Vettel didn't finish the race. I don't remember seeing that, and I don't recall what happened. So I assume an engine failure. I didn't see any crashes, and we certainly didn't have any safety cars. So must have just been engine issues. But anyway, looking forwards, we obviously put new components in Spain. So we've got a good pool of components to pick from. I'm crossing my fingers that we don't get any failures in Canada. We'll see. Join me for that one. If you like this video, give us a little like, drop us a comment, subscribe if you're new for plenty more F1 22 content. And if you want to see some F1 Manager content, head over to my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Chris G, followed by 3 underscores. So it's Chris G _____. I'm going to be streaming that. I don't really have a schedule, so just keep an eye on it. Give us a little follow. Yeah, and I'll see you over there. See you next time. Bye.